Hello everyone, this is Darker Joe. I'm going to be talking about Harsetti now, because I wasn't planning to do both of them in one video, but I kind of talked about Fenris a bit too much, so yeah. This one might be more of a,
This is
might
a
talk
waste
more.
of my time. You outlived your usefulness. Now rest in peace.
I will not give in to despair.
I do find it funny that
Sovereign
Ildov talked
Harsetti,
right there.
ruler of Skookyheim, the forest of the Shadow Elves, comes from a middle-class background. Although she was never a candidate for help further through her.
So Harsetti, 1,000. So she has 613 defense, 6,000 health, 124 speed, and then no crit chance of crit damage. All right. So health, she has 18% max health on her self imprint, and then defense on her release. Anyone who doesn't know, this is the episode 5 boss, which means that we are going to be able to actually get her imprints by 10 grand transmit stones or 10 gold transmit stones per imprint. So I think you need 5 imprints. So you basically just need to have 50 gold transmit stones, and you'll be able to get her triple S. Well, you'll be able to get her triple S. Obviously, you're sitting in polar, yeah, but like you'll be able to get the 5 imprints for her, which is 50 gold transmit stones. And with the amount of free summons we've gotten, that we were getting with the that, you probably have a lot. So like right now, I'm at like 68, almost 70 gold transmit stones. So I'm already set for her imprints. So I mean, what am I gonna do? Else I'm gonna do? Am I gonna get more galaxy summons? We're already getting 150. So yeah. Anyway, she shares the same stat line as New Moon Luna. So yeah, if you wanted to like preview what her stats would be, you can just use it in Luna's preview type of thing. You just go like pretend like you can see what it is off of Luna.
Imprint concentration. Skill 2.
Now this skill. Wait, am I even? Okay, good. I'm doing Rift right now. I was making sure my sound wasn't on, that I was hearing things. All right. Her S2, honestly, is gonna make this game so much more fun. Not fun, but so much more interesting. I think. I didn't want to say fun because we don't know yet. At the start of a battle, speed of her is fixed. Basically, her fix is set, which means whatever speed you have is guaranteed. You're never going to increase or you're never going to decrease. That is going to be your speed. So let's say you go for 200 speed, right? For whatever reason, you go. Let's say let's just use it for an example. You see your speed. Let's say your speed is 200. That means from now on, you will always have 200 speed on her. You cannot be increased or you cannot be decreased in speed. So speed buff and speed down mean nothing on her. And then it says right here, and speed of all heroes except for the caster is limited to a maximum of 90% of the caster's speed. So basically, if you go, some people are saying if you go 300 speed on her, that means the fastest anyone else on here except for her can be is like what, 270. So they cannot be any faster than 270. So if you have, let's say you're facing someone who has like a 320 speed ran or something crazy like that, and you're 300 speed, like, well, I'm sorry, you're actually 270 because I'm 300. So, however, she does not work against Zeo. Zeo's speed would still be capped at 90% of her, but then Zeo will still get that 20% boost from that starting mark, which means Zeo will still always outspeed her. In fact, having Harsetti would make it even easier for Zeo to guarantee that he gets first turn, because now that means your opponent can't like randomly get lucky outspeeding you, or they can't. Like, let's say you use Harsetti and Zeo. That means you don't have to worry about your opponent ever having any chance of outspeeding Zeo, because that means that even with speed imprints, even with lucky speed RNG, or even if, let's say, you're a 260 Zeo, let's say you're normally a 260 Zeo, but like you're like, oh, I can pretty much guarantee I can pretty much have a good chance to outspeed like 310, maybe 315 speed units like that. But you've randomly run into some crazy person who has like a 330 speed Ran, where you sometimes have Ran outspeed you in a normal RTA match. That no longer applies here. If you have Harsetti, or if Harsetti's in the game in general, and let's say you're the Zeo, and again you're fighting a person who might have like 325, 330 Ran, which again there's probably some crazy people who can do that. That doesn't matter. Your Zeo is going to outspeed that now. Even if they have speed imprints on them, your Zeo's still going to outspeed that. So some people are saying like it might make like, oh, it's going to make cleave really annoying because that means you definitely can't outspeed. And then they're going to go like, which I can see that though, only because the fact that Zeo guarantees an extra first turn. And I just see right here, on the caster's turn, combat readiness increases effect of all heroes is not applied. Which means that on Harsetti's turn, there will be no increase of, you cannot increase anyone's CR on her turn. However, if you have Zeo, you can still use Zeo with Rowana, with, Wrecker and Rowana. And then you could still go Zeo, then Wrecker and Rowana goes, and then Harsetti goes. So you can have 3 units go before the opponent team does, which means it's like, if you're planning to use Harsetti, you're probably going to want to either first pick or ban Zeo. Because that just like destroys that type of thing. Keep in mind though that Wrecker and Rowana, you cannot use her with Harsetti though. Like you might think like, oh, they banned Zeo. I'll just pick Rowana and Harsetti. No, because that means once it's Harsetti's turn, the Rowana can't push up. But at the same time, if you're a base speed Harsetti, then your Wrecker and Rowana is basically still already at the speed of the rest of your team now. Because that means your Wrecker and Rowana might be the same speed as like everyone else on the enemy team. Anyways, so it doesn't matter. Because I don't know, because it says speed of all heroes except for the caster is limited to a maximum of. So I don't know how that works with Rowana though. With Rowana's passive. You know how Rowana's passive is like, her speed is like cut in half. That's how Rowana works. I don't know how that works with this. Does she still get her speed cut in half? Or does she now have the same speed as everyone else? With also the additional 100% CR push if you're using someone else that's not, not Harsetti in the front. So other than the whole Zeo and Wrecker Rowana, I think that's the only time I can see cleave being broken with her. Other than that just basically puts everyone on an even playing field against an every other situation. This is such a powerful ability, passive, to have. And before you say, oh, I'll just use Luna and seal it. I mean, she's going to outspeed the Luna. Unless the built-in skill modifier somehow works on it, but I don't think it does. So she's going to outspeed the Luna. Yes, your skill modifier thing will work against some of anything that the debuffs that you might land on Harsetti's first turn, but like, actually, I don't know how seal works with that. Does like everyone's stats go back up to normal until you remove seal? I don't know.
2. The law of
Anyways, we're gonna have to do a lot of testing about this. This could be really, really fun. It could be really, really bullshit. We're gonna have to see.
And the speed of all heroes except for the caster is limited to a maximum of 90% of the caster.
Yeah, as you can see here, hell, even Blood Moon Haste here is even faster than Sid, than DDR, and Top Model Ludica. He is first on the enemy team. Even more than Laya, which tells you it is all 100% like speed RNG at this point. Which at first I was thinking, oh well, maybe that, because it says up to a maximum of 90% of it. That means if you're base speed, and if you're fighting like a 200, if you're using a 200 Harsetti and you have a base speed unit, like let's say my Techron, my MLK Ron. My MLK Ron might still always be back here type of thing, because he's not going to go up to it. He's just gonna be stuck in his 120, 112, whatever his speed is on my build. Whereas everyone else that has speed would go down to like, would be up to here at 200, like 190, 180 type of thing. So that's why you could go speed on her, but I think base speed just allows everyone to just go like, ha, I don't care about any of your speed. We're all base speed.
Stop existing.
On the caster's
Which is
turn,
funny.
combat readiness increase effects of all
And
heroes
very
are not
scary.
applied. The law of Skugiheim only applies to PvP.
Because that means Navy Captain Landy is now as fast as Ran. Oh my god. Okay, so the S3. He acquires 2 focus. Attacks all enemies, decreasing buff durations by 2. Has a 75% chance, which goes up to 100% chance to inflict unable to counterattack and unable to buff for 2 turns. Penetrates the target's defense by 100%, which means ill knob. If the opponent has an ill knob, you're literally going to do no damage on the S3 because of this. When focus is full, consumes it all and increasing damage dealt. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's max health. Like I said, I have the data mine here. They have right here 0.11, which most HP scaling units will have 0.5, but it doesn't matter. This is attack rate. Who cares? You're not going to actually have attack on her anyways. Health scaling. They said they might have forgotten to put it in, or maybe it's harder to see. But like he also mentioned down here that, where is it? Or someone mentioned right here, it might be around 12 to 15. Because if we use the example of someone like Alencia. Alencia's S1 was the same exact situation as this. Alencia's S1 was also, well, I think Alencia's was 0.5 for attack rate, but it was also 1, and it was also 8% scaling on the S1 into the S1 extra attack, which we'll talk about in a second, which was, for Alencia, was exactly this, though. 0.5, 1, 11%. So it might be copying the HP scaling of Alencia. So if that is the case, it might be, but then again, because they're both AoEs though, but then again, Harsetti has 100% pen, where Alencia doesn't. So I don't know if they're going to go that high of a number. And like even then, like even to say 26k HP Alencia with like solid crit damage, it only does like maybe 5-6k to like a team with, you know, with a knight type of thing. Not crazy damage. So it doing a 5 or 6k actually makes sense to how much damage the S3 does here. Like watch.
Gains 2 focus. When focus is full, consumes it all, increasing damage dealt. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's max health.
So 5,390. There was no mitigation here. Yeah, this is all tanks. This is all squishy units too. Besides for the haste, obviously. Well, actually, no. Haste and DDR are both not really squishy units, but it doesn't matter if they're squishy or not. You're still guaranteed going to do 5,390 damage off of her build, right? So she's at 26.8k HP, so solid HP, I think, good value. Obviously, the fact that she's critting means that she's a crit build. We don't know how much crit damage she has, though. But assuming it's like 270, 280 crit damage, which I think it could be, 5,390 damage off of almost 27k HP with no mitigation is pretty solid. Add mitigation to it, you're going to cut 20% of that, which is about 1,000, right? Because like 20% off, like it's 10% would be 539. So about 1,100. So you probably do about 43. You probably do about 4,300 or so, around there, 4,200 to 4,400 damage if they had mitigation off of her build, right? So solid damage, I could definitely see it being potentially 12, like, you know, 11 to like 13 or like around that mark. Also, they said if you have 100% focus when you use the S3, you have it's 100% damage increase. So if she had 100%, if she had 5 focus when she used the S3, which means that you're hopefully it's gonna proc off of your second S3, you can basically say, it would have did double this damage. So it would have did, you know, 10,600 damage off of her build. Actually, in an RTA setting, it would probably be less because she would have less health than this, because the frenzy would have cut her health down a bit. so it won't do exactly 10,600 in an RTA sense, but yeah, you can see that it would still be a pretty solid amount of damage type of thing. And then plus, obviously, she is still countered by injury like every other HP bruiser now. So it's like you get hit by any injury, you won't do that much damage as well. So that's why it's like her passive is so strong that even though her S3 isn't that game breaking, because like if you look at this, so it lands this much debuff. However, I do not know how it works with units who gain CR push after the turn. So does Desire Lilibet cut still? Because it says on her turn, no one cuts, right? No enemy, no ally or enemy cuts, which is great because that means that you can't use her with like Jacko. Like you can't use Jacko CR push. You can't use stuff like Summertime in Syria. You can't use a bridge with her, but you can use a bridge with other allies on your team though. But if you go in that kind of style, you're probably already going to try to go for outspeeding them anyway, so to the point you don't even want Harsetti on your team. So, but like, solid amount of, look at all this debuffs. This would proc Dilibet. Dilibet will push up, but I don't know how that works though with units that gain CR push at the end of the turn. Someone was saying like, I remember Sue was saying like Acades and like Sage Ball won't proc either. But I'm like, that also procs at the end of the turn. That's not on the turn. I don't know how that works. So, like, I can definitely see if they proc still, they still get that CR push because it's at the end of the turn. It's going into the next person's turn. Then I can see that you can have a good unit. You can use Acades, you can use Sage Ball, you can use Dilibet, down a little bit. But we got to see. Wait, why did I go back here? Oh yeah, okay.
Skill 1. Gamma.
Here is what I think is the big thing also. I mean, obviously the S2 is the biggest thing, but like this right here, I think is going to be really nice. So attacks the enemy with a 6% chance, 75% chance at maximal to decrease defense for one turn. When it's a caster's turn, uses en passant as an extra attack, deals damage based off of max health. Attacks all enemies with a 60% chance to decrease attack for one turn, and then damage increase based off of health. Basically, it is a unit that it's kind of like Alencia. It's exactly like Alencia's S1. Like Alencia's S1, I think is also 75% chance to death break, and then if it's on your turn, you immediately use her extra attack. Exactly the same with Harsetti. You use S1, 75% chance to death break, and then if it's on your turn, you do an extra attack. The only thing is that her S2, her extra attack is a AoE though. So also there's no other stipulation besides for it has to be her turn. So unlike Alencia, where you can hit Alencia with an unbuffable and she doesn't get Mind's Eye, which means she does an extra attack. Whereas Harsetti, it just has to be her turn. She doesn't. If you hit her with anything, she will still get her extra turn off, her extra attack off. Which means even if you seal her, she will still get her extra attack off, unlike, Alencia. So she'd actually be pretty good. And then, so she's always guaranteed AoE as well. On her S1 or her S3, she's always an AoE unit, which means that Lifesteal is a very good option on her too. Some people saying Destruction Set, I could definitely see it. I think she's going to be I think she's best going to be at base speed, so you're going to have like, that way you can go HP percent boots as well, so you can make up some of that though. Obviously HP percent boots, HP percent ring, and then you go like either crit rate or crit damage necklace, depending on the situation. If you have a lot of crit rate on your other pieces, then you can go out to a crit damage necklace. If you have a lot of crit damage but no crit rate on your neck on your other pieces, then obviously crit rate neck. But like, yeah, you get the idea though. So I think so Destruction Set is gonna be very, very strong on her. I think Lifesteal is gonna be very, very strong on her. I think even Injury might potentially be pretty good on her too, because again, she's always AoE, and she's gonna outspeed your opponent unless they have Zeo. And everyone's roughly the same speed, so there's no like, you're not gonna get lapped up that much. So she's a base speed unit that says, hey, guess what? I'm base speed, but we're all base speed, so it doesn't matter. You're not lapping me unless you have like 100% CR pushes and stuff, or you have multiple CR pushes on your team, type of thing. You're not gonna. I don't have to worry about you lapping me and getting so many extra turns. I mean, also she doesn't care about Ilnov then. Well, she cares about Ilnov because the S3 does less damage, but your S1 and extra attack will still do solid damage against Ilnov. But with the amount of attacks she does and AoE she does keep pushing up. Wait, she doesn't push up Ilnov. That's right. She won't push up Ilnov, but the rest of your team will. So, honestly, I think she'd be a really fun unit. I think she's definitely going to be a unit you want to pull, especially if you're if you are a standard player, if you are a turn 2 player. Like, if you're a cleaver, you might not get as much value off of her. I think you could probably find some way to cleave with her. Every fucking unit that comes out is going to have some kind of way to be cleaved with. But, like, I think she is going to be a must-have for, like, standard and, like, turn 2 unit players, because, like, as me, like, I've been getting into, like, you know, ER gang. I've been going into, like, going slower and just going bulkier and more, even with ER, which I guess, honestly, ER wouldn't be terrible on her, too. But it'd be kind of hard to do that with having good health, defense, crit chance, crit damage, and stuff like that, all of that. And effectiveness would be very nice, too, because, again, you have some good, solid debuffs, so you kind of want effectiveness, too, at some point. At least some effectiveness. At least her input's going to be easy to get. I think she'd be a really fun unit, for sure. I think, you can see right here. They showed right here. Like, look at this. 87%, 87%, 90%, 90%. So basically they're saying these units right here probably got lucky and got speed RNG to be 90%. These units are less because... So that means that I think unless this is probably base speed, if this is base speed Harsetti, then that means, like I said, everyone's base speed and everyone's going to be between 85 to 90%. Like, there's no one who's going to be less than 85% CR bar from a Harsetti if it's base speed Harsetti. I'm assuming that's what this is. Because I think if this actually had speed in it, like 200, well, maybe not 200, because these guys might not be base speed as well. But if this is like a 300 speed, then it might not be 90% for these units though. Like the speed units like this, like Sid and like Top Model Luluka might be 90%, but I think like units like DDR and like Haste, which is probably like 200 to 220 speed usually, they might be closer to like, you know, 70, maybe not 75, but like 80, 85. I think that with speed, it allows her to, you have more window of speed tuning. Whereas if you go for this base speed Harsetti, everyone becomes base speed and everyone is between 85% and 90%. Just like for her, that will be at 100%. Unless, of course, there's Zeo. As you can see here, because the second one they did, where is it? This is the match. Where's the start of it? Wait. Oh, wait. Okay. No, I was looking at Zeo for the enemy team, but this is not Zeo for the enemy team.
Are you done playing hero?
Yeah, here it is. Like, for example, here.
Your Emperor?
Zeo and Rowana are 100% each. She's at 87. But then these are all at 80 and down. So, which, like, you're obviously, that means that she's always, even with Zeo Rowana type of thing, she's going to always outspeed the enemy team, or the rest of the units, and they're probably going to be at 80% maximum from her. Or maybe at 90% if she's at like 100% type of thing. But, like, she's going to be very, very, like, there's always to be faster than everyone else. So, I don't know. This is gonna be a really interesting unit. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. I think she is definitely going to be a unit that's going to shake the meta up a bit. Like, we've all been wanting units that would really shake up the meta. I think she can do that for sure, 100%. Fenris should be a solid unit, like a good unit you can pull off in PvP and PvE, and he won't shake up the meta up, but he'll be a viable option to the meta. This is just the new unit, which I think is a good PvE unit. Probably, I might talk about her sometime when I actually test her out. If I ever when I pull her and type of thing. Judge Kisei, it's not going to make a big splash at all. Lionheart Sermia isn't. She's just gonna be easier to pull off and draft. Oh, I did not mean to click that. I'm gonna click down here. Abigail and Alencia. So Abigail definitely won't like shake the meta, but she's just gonna be more viable. I think she's gonna be very, very good. Alencia, I think she is gonna be much more viable, and she won't shake the meta, but she is going to be a strong secondary option to like ML Shu. Like if you don't have Urban Shadow Shu and you want as much injury as possible, and I mean, or you want a unit that can work really well with like Death Dealer Ray as well if you don't have Shu, Alencia is going to be a very good option because Alencia can do up to 44% injury in one attack now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to her. I think she'll be really fun. Fairies is going to be fun too, I think, viable as well. So yeah, that's my opinion. Artifact wise, let me talk about the artifacts though. For the Harsetti, some people are saying Abyssal Crown. I can see that. I can also see potentially Tea Time, last Tea Time as well, because you get some extra damage and you get a chance to cut your cooldown by 1. Fairy Tale of Nightmare could be pretty solid too, because you're always going to be doing extra attacks on your when you do your S1. Who else was it? Festive Ida. Festive Ida will be really, really good too, because you can have chance for landing those really solid debuffs, plus you get extra effectiveness on it. Because like Festive Ida's artifact gives you 30% effectiveness, and then you get 70% chance to apply up to 4. You get 70% chance to apply debuffs when you AOE. I think it's AOE. Yeah, when you AOE, which again, she's always going to AOE every turn. And like the debuffs being like, what was it? Stun was option. It was like stun, unhealable, venom, and decreased speed. Decreased speed has to be the literal worst one to get because it doesn't matter anything to you, because if you're using Harsetti, everyone's the same speed, so decreased speed means nothing. But like stun is huge. So stun is huge. Venom is very, very nice too, because it will allow her to do extra potential. It allows her to potentially deal with tanks as well, so she can start cutting down the HPs. And then what was it? Unhealable? Unhealable is pretty solid too, obviously, because depending on the situation, you might really want the unhealable. Like that will cut obviously stuff like ML Landy's healing and stuff. So, unhealable is definitely a solid debuff to have every once in a while too. But like the stun and venom, half the debuffs are going to be really, really strong debuffs to have. So yeah, I mean, I think Festive Ida's artifact would be pretty solid on her. I might go Festive Ida's artifact on her. I don't know, because I haven't built my Ida yet, so I don't know if I want to go with that artifact on her or not yet. Either way, I first have to make sure I can get her, because I'm at like 2,000 mystics, so I don't even have enough mystics, but maybe I'll get some by the time her banner comes out. So yeah. Anyways, that was my Harsetti review or impressions. So hopefully it doesn't destroy the game, but I think it should be pretty fun. So yeah, I'll see you guys next video.